And also in the back of my mind, I knew the IRS was on my ass. Like I always try to put a blind eye to it, or just put it in the back burner. But I didn't know how much the amount was. I really didn't. I just thought it was going to be like, okay, you made 250K from Capcom Cup. If you get 30%, it shouldn't exceed over like 80K. But boy, was I wrong because I didn't finish school. But you know what? They don't actually teach you much about. At least my time at school, they didn't teach me much about taxes, and like they weren't super big on that. So accountability is important, but school systems another topic. But yeah, so I knew in the back of my mind, like, yeah, I'm making a lot of money for streaming from these tournaments, but I knew eventually I'm gonna have to be a law-abiding citizen and pay my taxes. And when I was ready to buy, when I was ready to buy a house in January, and they needed my tax information, I was like, yeah, sure. And I checked the IRS.gov, and it said $144,000 owed. And I saw that, I was like, I'm joking. Like, this is a joke, right? And
wow,
it wasn't. It was such a big reality check. Like, me and my wife, we were ready to buy a house, escape our horrible neighborhood, and then we just see that number, and it was like such a fucking gut punch, bro. It was horrible.
So wait, what time was that? What's the actual timeline there? When did you actually finally check this figure and see that you owed that much?
December of last year. Like, really recently, actually, December.
Oh, so this wasn't even. I did want to bring this up. I wasn't sure how much you would want to share about this, because
I want to share about stuff like this because I know other gamers are just like me, lazy, procrastinating. Like, it's gonna happen to other people. But the more we shed light about this, the better. So if you use my experience to prevent other young people from making this mistake, that'd be cool. I don't care.
Yeah, I was wondering if that's something you knew about earlier, because you were public about this when you qualified for Capcom Cup last season, because you went through the gauntlet to qualify.
Yeah.
You came so close to qualifying against Mena RD in the regional finals, last game, last round, last decision. And Mena RD was very I got to give him props there. He made some amazing last-second decisions. It seemed like you were almost a shoo-in to win in that moment. And then he ate the sonic boom to prevent the burnout and found the clutch openings, which I know it must have been like gut-wrenching for you because you got so close. And then after that, you have to do it through the CPT Premier, which is the wild card version, right? At least the regional finals, you cut it down to the top 8. Now you're back into the shark-infested waters, and you run it all the way through. You get sent to Losers by Banana Ken. You run it all the way back. You throw his JP 30 million times in the face of Season 1 amnesia. And then you close up the set 3-0. And then in this interview, you're very emotional in that moment. You're so relieved. And then you drop this kind of bomb that
no one really knew.
I'm Knuckle Doodang. I won Capcom Cup in 2016, the biggest prize pool ever in fighting at the time, and I owe the IRS $140,000 in back taxes. And there was a moment where I was like, "What?" I was restreaming it. I almost paused it. I was like, "What did he just say?"
Yeah.
Did you expect that to come out in that moment? Like, were you?
I don't ever share. I don't talk about that. Like, I don't even think my closest friends knew, and I tell them almost everything. But that's not something as a man you want to tell people that you're in debt. Like, even when I go to I stopped, but when I did go to the casino 5 times a week, you don't like to tell people about your losses. Like, oh, I lost 500 today or 400, especially your wife. But but when I won and qualified for the cup, it was just really emotional, and like, it's like, okay, you have a chance to actually win Capcom Cup again, and so do, what is it, like 48 other players. So I don't know, it's just something just made me want to just help people who are in my position or are going to be in my position, and hopefully don't make the same mistake, because the stress of having that much debt, bro, is not cool. Like, you turn to a lot of different outlets that are not the healthiest, and I don't want people to go through that. Like, friend or foe or stranger, it's not cool.
Right. No, that's a big thing to admit, and it definitely felt like a moment where you were just very emotional in a positive sense and wanted to share that experience, because it is something that a lot of people might not know about. And given your background and upbringing, you weren't in a position to have been given that guidance, because nobody teaches you about this tax stuff in school, right? Like, that's not even a thing.
They didn't teach me that.
No, they don't. They don't. Like, it's not a thing that's taught. Maybe if you do a home ec class, maybe they'll walk you through taxes, but generally that comes from guidance from other people who have been in that situation. And if you're in an environment where you're not dealing with or you're not connected with people who've gone like this entrepreneurial route, come into large sums of money, jumping tax brackets, right? Like that's a different life experience. And it sounds like you didn't have anyone in your corner at that time to help you through that. Is that
I will
correct?
say, yes, like in terms of family, but I will say Justin and I were not the closest, but just in passing, he has brought up about taxes. And I was saying wait, so I had to, this is like closer to like 2015, or no, this is like closer to when maybe 2016, 2017, but I just brushed it off. He was like, yeah, you got to pay these taxes. I was like, wait, so this money that I just won, do I get any of this back? And he was like, no, you just got to hold that. I was like, what the hell? I'm not doing that. And I just kind of brushed it off and I just thought it would go away, but it didn't. But yeah, he did try to warn me about it because, he's doing the same thing we're doing. Right. He pays taxes like a law-abiding citizen, so he was just trying to help out too.
Yeah, so it's definitely something to look into. I mean, it's something that I look into more and more these days as I've gotten more into content creation. Like when you start making money from non-W-2, like regular employment where it's automatically taken out of your paycheck, unfortunately, in the American tax system, it's up to you to do your research and figure out. They're like, we know how much you owe, but we're not going to tell you.
Yeah, isn't that annoying, bro? Like, we got to go
it's
on
a
our
game.
way. Yeah, I hate it.
I mean, I feel like part of it is because they want, unfortunately, these unfortunate situations to happen so they can start charging, the interest, and they actually make more money off you.
Is the amount I owed, the interest was $900 a month. So like, I would make a $500 payment, and then the next month, $900 more applied to it. And I was looking at this, I was like, yo, what the hell are we gonna do here? And thankfully for my wife, she's the brains of this marriage. I'm not saying she wears the pants. She is the brains. Okay, so she was like, it doesn't make sense to save money right now. It makes sense to tackle this irresponsible as debt. She didn't say all that, but it makes sense to tackle this debt head on. And yeah, I can confidently say we paid that off within a few months, and that's due to Street Fighter 6. Grateful for Street Fighter 6 and my crack work ethic in season 1 where I was just doing 3 tournament runs. Right. And because of that, I'm really grateful and I'm appreciative that I did work really hard season 1 because I don't think I would.
That's amazing to hear.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing to hear. I was wondering if that was successful because like I brought it before, you were on every tournament. And at this time, especially during the release, I mean, these tournaments are cracking sometimes 500 plus entrants. Like TNS was a major, bigger than what anything we would have had in Street Fighter 5 or Street Fighter 4 level regional. You look at some CPT events, even from like when the CPT was in full string, just raw in terms of raw number of entrants, these online tournaments were bigger, right? 100%. And then the prize pools, I mean, it was kind of random, right? In the sense that it's usually done through match arenas or something, but sometimes they're in the thousands, right? For a weekly tournament. And then you have multiple of these every week. So you for sure saw this as an opportunity to like, hey, if I go all in, I can make significant income from this.
Yeah.
Like that was 100%. A plan in your mind.
But it wasn't but subconsciously I knew I was just putting it into a bag that I had to give away to the Uncle Sam. But I didn't think about it. But something in my brain told me like, yo, like this is just temporary. And I was right. The fucking IRS got me.
So you knew, even before you knew the official figure of how much you owed, you were saying that you were not going to spend it. Like you understood that this was to be reserved in your gut for something important.
Yeah, 100%. And when you have kids, when you have kids and you want something, this is part of growing up, I guess, if you want something shiny and expensive. Like back then, I would just buy it, but now you just look at it and you're like, damn, that'd be cool. And you just walk away. But it's part of growing up, right? Like, I used to get a new phone like twice a year, but I've been on the same phone for a minute, and I've been on the checkout page in Samsung. I'll be like, man, that's expensive. So, and I told myself, like, if I make Captain Cup this year, I'll get myself a new phone, and I'm still with my same phone. Because
that's great.
Priorities, bro.
No, I love that. Yeah, because that's one thing I've always noticed about the consumerist mentality is like the need to upgrade a phone. I can't believe you did 2 phones a year.
Yeah, like if they get like a little scratch, I'm like, damn, I need a new phone. Or maybe the internet's a little slow. I think it's time to upgrade a new phone. Or maybe
the Wi-Fi is down.
Yeah. So like if there's a good trade-in deal, I'll be like, damn, that's such a good deal. It's just like it's more value if I don't do it, So, or if I do it. So but
they got you.
Yeah, I've thankfully calmed down with kids
Right. Sale logic. Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm saving 50%. No, you're spending X amount that you didn't need to spend.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome to see that worked out. I'm glad you weren't spending all the income at that time.